And today we're going to be talking about the Penn SAS Middle School program. I'm going to start off by introducing myself. My name is Dr. Tiffany Clayton. I am the director for this program, um, and also the director for high school programs in the School of Arts and Sciences as well. So this program will fall under me. Um, Tonight, I'm going to introduce you to some other key members of the team who will also be supporting your students and your children throughout this, summer program. We're going to start off with members of my team. We're going to go with Jim.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jim Ramey. I'm the Associate Director for Professional Organizational Development, which is non-credit executive education, as well as high school programs and middle school programs. Happy to see you all tonight. Tushita?
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Tushita Agarwal. I'm the program manager for the high school programs, and I'll be supporting the middle school program as well. Hannah?
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Hannah Sherrill, and I'm going to just pull up some slides really quick to tell you guys about myself. So I will be the course instructor for the Future Scientist Biology edition. So can everyone see my screen? Yes, okay, cool. So a bit about myself. So I have a bachelor's degree in neuroscience and a PhD in neuroscience, but my research was all in developmental neurobiology. So I studied how your brain becomes the different kinds of cells, or how the cells in your brain become the different kinds of cells they become. After that, I have had a number of different opportunities to improve my science communication outreach and teaching. I was briefly a biology teacher here in Philly, after which I worked as an Eagleton Science and Politics Fellow in the New Jersey Department of Health during the pandemic, where I helped develop a lot of their health education materials. I've also worked in middle school STEM programming in an out-of-school time capacity, and my current position is as the Associate Director of the Science Outreach Initiative. All right, some fun facts about me. I have 2 cats and a dog, and I grew up a vegetarian in Texas, which was difficult. So to give you guys an overview of what your students can expect this summer, we are going to have a packed full whirlwind of a week where your kids get to experience life as a cutting edge molecular biologist. They'll use a lot of the techniques that many of us used for the first time in college and or grad school. We'll obviously start with a welcome and an overview. We'll do some lab safety training to make sure that the students are all able to act and work safely in the environment. We'll, of course, have lunch every day, and then the students will learn about microscopes, and they'll take a selfie of their own cells, and they will get to go see a number of really cool microscopes that exist on campus. We're going to go to the microscopy core. On Tuesday, they'll learn about plasmids, and they will actually engineer their own plasmid and transform bacteria to produce a specific protein. And I'll tell you guys more about that in a minute. Wednesday, they're going to amplify some DNA and then run it out on a gel. They'll also probably go on a lab tour that day, and then they'll work in cell culture. And finally, on Friday, they will look at proteins in a little bit more detail, and then they'll do a group presentation and wrap up. So these are some examples of what those will look like. That's basically someone else's cheek cells up close. They'll get to see at least 2, probably 3 of these microscopes. They'll get to look at some cool pictures that look similar to this. And then they'll make glowing bacteria. They'll amplify the GFP, the gene that makes the bacteria glow. And they'll look at it on a gel. Then they'll get to give it to some cells in culture. And then they'll detect the protein alone in what's called an ELISA. And that is an overview of what they will do this week, or that week.
Does anyone have any questions? Please put them in the chat. It could be questions about the academics. It could be questions about, what they might be doing at lunch, what diner hall they'll be at. Any questions you may have, we are more than happy to answer.
Maybe I have a question. Do the students need a computer? Hannah.
It's not necessary, but if the students would like, so the presentation, they will have different options for how to do the presentation. If the students in their group decide that they would like to do a PowerPoint presentation to do their presentation, then they are welcome to bring a computer, but that's definitely not necessary.
Okay, and then the other question I saw was, can you explain drop off and pick up? Jim or Tishida, can you explain?
Yes. So something amazing about the University of Pennsylvania campus is it's always growing, getting bigger and better. But that unfortunately sometimes means there's a lot of construction on campus. So right now, the building that we're going to be in for most of the day does have construction kind of right outside of it. So the best location in the world for drop off and pickup is currently occupied by a very big truck. At least it was the last time I was on that side of campus. So as of right now, we haven't finalized what the drop-off and pickup location is because no one's been able to give me a really good answer of when that truck will move, but it does have wheels and it should hopefully move very quickly, very soon. So in general, how the drop-off and pickup will work is that in communication a little bit closer to the start of the program, we'll send you like kind of a Google Map pin where drop-off will be. Parking on campus isn't the best being in a kind of an urban environment. So a lot of the drop off will be either pulled to the side or we have identified a potential parking lot that you'd be able to kind of drive in, drop off your student with one of our staff members, and then kind of turn around and get back into the flow of traffic. The students will then be walked or escorted to the classroom for the day, depending on how far away the building is. It's not going to be that far, but it's just unfortunately not one of those scenarios where you can pull up in a cul-de-sac and the front door is right there. Just Penn's not made that way. I will say, if you've never been to Penn's campus, it is very pretty, but from the inside, it doesn't look very pretty when you're driving around it. But as the students are going to lunch and things like that around campus, they'll get to see the nicer side that we kind of hide behind a lot of our historic buildings. Drop-off will work similarly. It should be in the same location that we end up selecting for pickup. The students will, we'll have a staff member relay that information to another staff member inside that student's, parent, guardian, whoever is ready for pickup, and then we'll escort the student out into your car, and then you can be off your way. We will, in the paperwork we'll be sending out, have information where you can designate to us who is allowed to pick up your child. And if you would like, we are entertaining, depending on, if you're interested, the ability for the child to sign themselves out and potentially get on public transportation if they're familiar with Philly. I will say where we're at, the closest subway would be 40th Street, and it's probably about a 10-ish minute walk. So if at all possible, we more lean towards you coming in person to pick up or drop off your child, but knowing kind of the infrastructure of the city and that we have students from a wide range of backgrounds and comfortability with public transport, that is technically going to be an option as long as you sign off on that. Everything really is about parental permission at this age. Thank you.
Hannah, we have a question for you. Is there any prior knowledge about bio required to attend the program?
Most students who have either completed 7th or 8th grade will know the bare minimum that, all multicellular organisms are made of cells. But that's pretty much the only thing that I would hope that someone comes in with. I will explain the other stuff in an age appropriate way, and I won't get too deep for kids who haven't gone further than, we are made of cells. But they'll definitely be able to keep up even if they have not had prior biology background. It's always helpful, but it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And
Hannah.
then, thank you, Hannah. So 2 people had questions about how many students will be participating in the program. So there's 2 sessions that we have, and we won't have any more than 24 students in each one.
Hannah, there's another question for you. Do the students need to bring anything with them on the first day?
Nothing aside from themselves in lab appropriate clothing and anything that they need to be comfortable and safe for themselves. So as long so for lab every day, students must wear long pants, closed-toed shoes, a shirt that covers the torso completely, and this is all just for your regulations for being inside of a working lab.
The next question is about cell phones. Can the students bring cell phones? So cell phones are allowed. They can bring their cell phones, but when the lab is in session, they will be asked to put it aside.
There's also some questions about food and where students will eat. So in the chat, there is a website that goes to 1920s Commons. Lunch is included in the tuition, so you don't have to worry about packing them any lunch. 1920s has a variety of options for every type of nutritional need. So even if they are like a vegetarian or they are gluten-free or something like that, they usually do have options for all those types of needs. But if you feel as though your kid would be more comfortable with their own food, then that's fine too. You just kind of have to let us know, so that way we can make sure like they'll still go with their kids to eat in the dining hall, but maybe we just know that they need to bring their lunch with them. So just keep us up to date on any type of accommodations or any special needs that your child may have, and we will try our best to make sure it works out for them. But again, everything should be in 1920s Commons.
In the same
Also-
paperwork where we go over drop off and pick up, we'll ask about dietary restrictions and things like that. And our counselors will know, the students that, might need some help navigating the dining hall. And all of our dining halls have chefs on campus that are more than willing to walk through with students, what are the menu options of the day, and are familiar with the ingredients for things like allergies or dietary restrictions. So we know our students might not be comfortable approaching adults in that, way at their age, but the counselors will be more than happy to help the student do that.
I also noticed a question about water for the day. So inside, students are free to bring their own water bottle if they'd like. There is no food or drink inside of the lab when we're doing laboratory work, but students will be given time to take breaks to go have water or go to the bathroom, and there are also water fountains.
Mhm.
So we're here for questions. You can put them in the Q&A, you can put them in the chat. But we are still here to answer any questions you may have. And pretty much everything that we're talking about right now, we're also going to put in the letter or any of the correspondence that we will be sending out to you in the next couple of weeks. So don't worry if you only heard half of it, or if you think you heard something and you're not really sure. We're going to repeat a lot of the same information, so that way you have all the information that you need in order for everything to be smooth when you are dropping your child off to us. Tashida put in the lab dress code required. Tashida, you want to talk about that?
Hannah already talked about it. I just wanted to put it in the chat if somebody missed that.
Yes. So someone put in the chat, this is our first year doing this particular program. Yes. And so we are really excited to launch biology for middle schoolers. It's very popular. It's one of our most popular programs for high schoolers. So we're really happy that we are able to present this to a younger demographic. And who knows, maybe, some of the students who participate in our middle school program might want to come to our high school offerings, because we have a lot to choose from and a lot of STEM categories as well. Yes, should have put in the chat a list, a link to our high school programs. All right. Are there any UPenn discounts that we can that are available at the nearby hotels for out-of-state students? Currently, no, we don't have any access to any discounts for any of the nearby hotels for out-of-state students.
There are two hotels on campus, though. There's the Inn at Penn, which is a Hilton brand, right in the middle of campus, and then there's also a Sheraton that is on campus but isn't necessarily Penn affiliated. And they're a little bit further away. I think there's is it the residences, Tiffany, or Summer Discovery Stays? Yeah, the residences.
Sheraton and oh God, it is a. I'll look into it. I can put it in the chat when I get it.
Thank you.
Mhm. And then the next question is it for rising to eighth or above graders second? That went away. Oh yes, they should be a rising seventh in seventh grade.
Current
Yeah.
7th and 8th graders for the academic year 25-26.
Yes. Yes,
And
and Lisa, that's correct. The study is close by.
And the second part of that question was, can the parents see the menu of the dining halls beforehand, in case the student doesn't like the options that are available? Jim, you want to talk about the food, or should I go ahead?
I will say, because we are in the high school programs that Tiffany was mentioning, they do live on campus for anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks and eat a majority of their meals in the dining hall. It is very kid friendly, I will say. Pizza, salad bar, pretty much always staples. A lot of the times pasta, rice, simple things are in rotation. There's usually like a rotating hot meal. And then, of course, the different stations to meet the dietary needs. Halal is usually a staple, as well as kosher, vegetarian. It just really depends on it day to day. A lot of the times they will put the menu in the 1920s Commons. The only thing I'd caution you with is that during the summer, when this program will be in session, campus is still really active and vibrant. It is where a lot of non-college students are on campus in programs like ours or high school programs that we run as well, and other schools across the university, because we're all kind of separate. But it isn't, the same experience when undergrads are there. So while the menu may be updated now, it honestly may be forgotten about a little bit during the summer, just because there's different levels of staff on campus. But anything that is available will be on that website I put in the chat, and we'll make sure to include that in follow-up communication as well.
Hannah, next question is for you. What type of topics do you imagine for the group presentation?
So the students will be working all week in a group of 4, which we will figure out on the first day who would work best together. And the topic is going to be very general. What I'm going to be encouraging students to be doing. So the students will all get a lab notebook that will have like guided questions for every day. And my hope is that at the end of the week, the students will together choose a few of their favorite things that they did, and we'll share what they learned about either 1 or 2 things that they learned. Again, they can use pictures if they want to, if someone wanted to bring a computer or use their phone to generate a Google presentation that I can then present, that's fine, but they also don't need to do that at all. They can just say, here is my bacterial plate. It has, 20 glowing things. What I learned was that it is possible to manipulate DNA and use that to make another organism create the protein I want. I thought that was really cool. That was my favorite thing I did. They're not going to be super duper in depth because this is a 1-week program. It's not going to be expected that your child's able to, explain what a plasmid map is or like how they did the entire experiment. But I do want them to have a chance to share about their experience as a group and the things that they enjoyed doing together. I also want them to have a chance to talk about how they work together as a group. So my hope is that they'll share their favorite thing that they did, and then, what it was like to work as part of a research team for the week. If you have something you'd like your child to say, let me know.
Thanks, Hannah. The next one is from a student from Canada who is passionate about science, but is not sure if there will be like a lot of new knowledge and they will feel overwhelmed because they think that they don't have a lot of knowledge in the field of bio.
I really think that any student can approach this. I'm not going to go into the depth of what I would go into for, a college course where we're learning in detail about these processes. The idea is for the kids to get to have a chance to play with some of the tools that that are used in molecular biology. And I'm specifically using activities that are pretty much plug and chug. Like they're not going to, there's very little chance that they will not work. But if they don't work, then we get to talk about, how in science sometimes things don't turn out the way that you expect them to. I am not expecting that the kids will have recall for every fact that they're told, but just enough understanding for them to know what they were doing and why they were doing it and why they saw the outcome that they did. Those are the three things that I hope every day they can say, we were changing the DNA and giving it to a bacteria. The bacteria then made the glowing protein. Like that's the level of depth of knowledge that I'm going for at the end of every day. Again, this is supposed to be a fun 1 week exposure to molecular biology techniques. It's not, the students aren't expected to leave with, Bio 101 university level understanding of science.
Sana. And we have a question about the application deadline. The application deadline is June 1st for both the sessions.
The best part is if you enroll by May 15th, you will save $300 off the tuition.
Oh, I see that there's a question about if they'll get to see a recording of, do you want this presentation or of your student's presentation?
We will have a copy of this presentation on our website.
The students' presentations.
Yeah, we probably won't be recording that.
No, but never mind. I will talk to you guys about that afterwards.
But if you, hopefully the student will practice at home and you'll be able to see them do it and it'll be amazing. Oh, there's a question in the chat. How soon after applications will we know if a student was admitted? It should take us about no more than 2 to 3 weeks to get that decision out to you. So what we always recommend though is that you check your spam because sometimes correspondence does go to spam. And if you don't hear anything from us, you're almost always welcome to email us and we can put the email in the chat.